What's up, guys? Isaiah here from Goo Gaming. I have PJ and Logan here with me, and we're going to do another tier list today over what we think the best side deck cards are for the format. You guys ready?
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to start with the Ghost Scissors, and we're going to start with Ash Blossom. What do you guys think about Ash?
I think Ash Blossom should just probably be in most people's main decks. Just the fact that I think Hand Traps as a whole, with the Brave Engine being released, is a lot weaker. You have to have two of them for them to do anything because the first one's just going to eat an Omni Negate.
Yep.
But I think Ash being able to stop them from getting to the Brave Engine is actually just really helpful, and I think it's just really good right now, and it probably should be in your main deck.
I think if you play, you should definitely main deck it for sure.
I agree. Our tiers are going to be S through D, and then the main deck tier is basically we don't think you should side it. We think it should be in everybody.
Well, not necessarily everyone's main. Just if you're going to play the card, it should probably be in your main deck
that's
rather
fine.
than your side deck.
I agree. I think Ash just hits like it's not like a blowout card, but it's just like it hits the most things in the meta. That's how it's been for a while. But
yeah, most versatile card for sure.
How do you feel about Ghost Spell?
I think the card's pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
I think it's like closer to like D tier. Like I would play DD Crow and Skullmaster over this card right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, DD Crow.
Like this card got most of its. Like this card got most of its value recently when it was stopping Revolt.
Exactly, try brigade.
And that's just it doesn't stop anything really in the. I guess it can stop DP from coming back, I suppose, but like. Other than that, like you're not really stopping much. DD Crow would just be a better option, right? Most of the time.
I would agree with you.
So, yeah.
Now with Ghost Ogre, I've seen a lot more people playing this card. It's better than it was before with the adventure stuff coming out, but I still don't know how.
I think it's pretty mid, pretty C tier.
Yeah,
Very ideal C card. It's not like a great card, but it's not like unusable. Like a lot of people don't play around this card, so whenever they do get hit by it, it's like
devastating.
You know, it can actually just end their turn because like it's just not a card a lot of people play.
That happened
to me.
It's
a niche card for sure.
That happened to me on Saturday.
It's unfortunate.
And I feel like this card's always going to be a D tier card.
That card, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel like Reaper is either like S tier or like F. Like,
there's
no in between. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's usually insane or it's awful. It just depends on how the format develops. If the format develops where PK is like the best deck by far, not even close, we may actually even end up seeing a card like that.
Yeah, it's got to be a legit tier 0 format for this card to be.
Yeah.
And Ghost Mourner, this card is not. It's pretty bad. There's just I feel like
I disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I don't think it's like D tier, but I don't think it's anything of us.
I think that it is better. I think it's on par with Effect Veiler right now. And only for one reason and one reason only. I think the card overall is worse than Effect Veiler, but it has an interaction that Effect Veiler doesn't have where you can hit Scythe. And I think that is
true.
Relevant.
That's fair. You think it should be B tier for the format, or you think it's higher than that?
I would still put it C tier, but I definitely think people should think about at least it can hit Scythe.
Especially decks that lose hard.
And it can hit DP. Like if DP comes back on your turn, you can hit it with that card, and it's like decent, right?
Yeah. So decks that lose really hard to Scythe, you could probably side.
Yes.
That's fair.
But our next card's probably just better most of the time.
DD Crow, I think it's a pretty okay card in this format.
I think it's B tier for sure. It's really strong against the PK deck.
I've always been a big fan of DD Crow.
It can also hit the Brave Engine, right? Like if they have to use Cherry Beanie to get to their Brave Engine, you can just cut it off by just DD Crowing it before they get the chance to activate it.
Yep. I think it's good against
very
a lot
versatile.
of rogue decks as well. Like a lot of decks play like Reborn cards, and this is really good for them.
Yeah, it's pretty good against Virtual World, right? Too, like because a lot of their hands are really clunky and they need the Quingalong Search to get going, and if you just DD Crow the Quingalong, like they're just stuck.
And it's also pretty good against like speed roach as well, because whenever you get like the reborn from grave, from speed recovery or YuGiOh or even cork, you
Yep.
get those as well.
Yeah, I don't think this
Oh,
card is terrible against anything. I just feel like there's better cards to play against everything.
there's higher impact
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
for
what I mean.
sure.
What about effect failure?
I think effect roller is pretty bad, but I
Okay.
think it's like better than these other hand traps that we're putting on the list, right? Like I think it's like B, but it's not like the top of B by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that.
I don't really have anything to say about effect failure. I feel like a lot of times, like single target negation, especially when it's only on your opponent's turn, is just kind of okay. It's never really like
Mm-hmm.
You know, when a card's like closely as powerful as Ghost Mourner, like it's probably not that great.
Yep.
Like if you look at it in that lens.
Now Nibiru, everyone's maining this card, and everyone's playing this
You have a lot
card.
to say about this card.
I just like this card's good. It's always gonna be good. I don't like it. May be an A tier card. I feel like at this point in this game, every single person plays around this card, and a lot of people say like no one plays around at game one, but for the past like 4 or 5 months, everybody's been main decking this card. So every time I have this in my hand, it's always like fifth summon is gonna stop it. Like against Sword Soul, most of the time I'm just using this card to bait out of Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think like if we
I would put it
use
in B tier.
the context of every hand trap being compared to like how good it is because of the Brave engine, all of these hand traps are definitely lower, right, than
Yep.
like certain other
100%.
cards on this list. So if you're using it in that context, I think Nib is a B. But I think when Nib resolves, it's usually an A
insane.
or an S.
Yeah, because it's just a blowout card. At the end of
So
the day.
If you're
probably when it
resolving Nib, it's an
resolves,
A.
it's probably an S.
S.
But right now, it's closer to B. So I think
So
it's
put A.
pretty good in A.
Yep.
Right now, like in the in between.
I can see that. I just really hate this card right now. Like, I don't even side it anymore. Like I just hate it. I just look at it in my hand. Like if I wanted Dwayne in my hand, I would just pull up my phone. You know, I wouldn't be playing the cards. How you feel about Skullmeister?
Awful.
I've actually never played this card. Not a
I
single time.
played it
I think
once months ago.
DD Crow is just better
It
most
is.
of the time. I think it's a little better than Ghost Bell and Reaper, though. It's probably closer to Ghost Ogre. So I think Ghost Warner is better than Ghost Ogre, but Ghost Ogre is better than Meister, probably.
You think it's in
So I
C?
think it's C. I think it's C,
C, but bottom
probably.
end of C.
Like I couldn't if someone played it, I wouldn't be that surprised because it does hit a lot of different things. Like it hits Cling Long, it hits spells and traps, which normally cards like that doesn't hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the card's decent. It's not like insane, but it's not awful.
Now Gamma, I have grown to love this card. I played it this weekend, and every time I activate this card, it did a lot.
Yeah, it was good,
But it's
dude.
obviously a card that you got to be able to play in your deck. But I feel like this card's really strong. I don't know if it's S tier strong, but I feel like it's better than Biru.
I think it's S tier strong.
You?
I think if you resolve it, it's just insane. Like we're going
I
first.
think it's the second best hand trap right now. I think it's between S and main deck. Like
Yeah.
I think if a deck can main deck this card this format,
That's what I was gonna say.
they will be main decking this card this format, but not every deck can.
Yep, that's what I
So
was
it's
getting ready to say.
probably S.
I agree with that for sure.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you can play this card, you should be playing this card. That's just how I feel about it.
Yes.
All right, Imperm. How do you feel about this?
I think it's pretty B tier, but I
Yep.
think it's the highest in B tier.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
It may be closer to A, but it also is closer to main deck than anything, I think.
yeah. I think personally, if you're playing this card, I think you should make.
Yeah.
I don't think siding it is going to do much for you. If you're going to side it, you can decide like a more impactful card, like something we'll get to later. And I feel like it does more. It does more than these other cards against like trap decks because you can turn off skill drains and stuff. That's what I've noticed myself been using it more for is just turning off floodgates and stuff.
You actually convinced me. I agree with what you just said.
What about Droll?
C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like this card's not going to do much at all this format.
If
I feel
somehow
like since
Bird
Drytron's not
and
here, like
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like if somehow Bird and Drytron become like insane, I can see Droll being better. But also Droll is pretty good against the Virtual World deck, and that did just get second at the PPG event, so we may want to put it a little bit higher, like B.
I could see that.
But I also feel like
I
there's
think
going to be better cards to play against.
actually I think it's probably better than Valor and like even with Crow right now, probably.
I think it's an okay card, and when this card does resolve against decks it's really good against, it's insane. I just feel
Yeah.
like, at least at the start of the meta, I feel like it's not going to be as impactful. Like it's not going to, people aren't going to main this card, and if they do, it's going to be dead most of the time.
I mean, yeah, it's a side deck card for sure.
Yeah. Token Collector. I think this is a side deck card, but I think it is probably S tier in this format.
Yeah, it's definitely somewhere between
Yeah.
S and A.
I think it's
The only reason I wouldn't put it in S is because the amount of decks you could side it in against is limited.
True.
That is the only reason.
That's fair.
But the decks that you put it in against is definitely S tier power level.
Yeah, but I do think that if you can play this card, I think it should be in everybody's side deck.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Sure.
think it should be.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Definitely really
Because
good.
like the decks you do play it against are going to be some of the most represented decks.
Also, it like destroys the Brave engine.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like any Brave deck you can play it against, and Sword Soul you can play it against. And any
Yep.
deck that makes a Rorodon, you can play it against.
I had that card sided against me this weekend.
How do you feel about Lancia?
I love it.
S tier.
You think
S
so?
tier.
Yes. I think it's the best side deck card this format, to be honest.
Yeah.
If PK knows represented, because it just destroys PK and it destroys Virtual Wall.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be one of the two best decks.
You think it should
And
be
it
a
Some
card?
of the
also,
two best decks.
and if you
No.
shotgun it in your standby phase, then it also stops the Brave from hand getting banished. I mean from grave too.
Yeah.
see
I don't
that.
think it's a main deck card yet, but it could possibly develop to that point.
Yeah, you start seeing like most of your matchups being PK and Virtual.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, moving on from hand traps, we're going to back row 8 cards. How do you feel about Cosmic Cyclone?
Pretty B.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
card's really good, but I feel like you were saying, Lancia, everyone's gonna be playing Lancia, so like
If your deck loses a Lancia, don't play Cosmic.
Yeah. yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you're playing PK or Virtual World or something that loses to Lancia, don't play this.
Yeah.
Because they're
I
probably
also
gonna be playing
think you
Lancia.
just need more than one spot removal
Yep.
against the decks that you want back removal against this format.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like you're not going to play against very many Invoke Dogmatica decks at first, at least. So, like, you really just want the massive board wipes rather than just a single targeted removal.
Yep. Probably Feather Duster.
Probably A.
Yep. I feel like it's not like insane, but I feel like if your deck loses hard to back row decks, I feel like you can play this card. Like it's not gonna be a bad card to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, like, it can
I
just
feel
steal
like
games as well.
Yeah, I
Against
also
the
feel
trap
like
decks.
if you're like putting something in S tier, it's the best of its type.
Yep.
And I do not think Harpy's Feather Duster is better than some of the other cards on this list.
I agree.
I agree with you. You think Lightning Storm's better than that?
I think it's about even, but
Yep.
I don't think Harpy's Feather. I don't think Storm like a Lightning Storm is good against like any like monster deck.
Yeah,
So it's
it's
like you're
definitely
really valuing it
off
as
your
a
back row.
Harpy's Feather Duster. So I think it should be about equal.
Yeah.
The only reason I think it's equal is like I would never use this card as a monster thing because everyone's summoning their monster. Any deck that loses to this card is putting them in defense. So the only reason I think it's better than Harpies is because you can play more than one of it, so you're gonna see it. But then again, it's gonna be dead most of the time after your first turn because you're gonna have cards on the stove.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Evenly is the best card out of this. Like,
I disagree.
I love this card.
Jesus.
I think there's another card on this back row hate that is actually better than Evenly Matched for one reason and one reason only. And I'll explain that when we get to it. But I think Evenly is at the top. I think maybe we should drop Lightning Storm to the top of B.
Yeah.
But Just because it is a little worse than Harpy's Feather Duster, right?
Yeah,
And it gets
And I
worse
think
after
evenly.
turn 2.
it gets worse on the
and
game
stuff
goes
like
on.
that. Yes.
Yeah, like if you resolve an evenly match after you bait out their Brave card, they literally have to keep the token, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
they literally send everything else.
Yeah, this card's really good this format. That's why I was saying I like this so much.
Yeah, but there's another card I think is a little bit better, and only because of the versatility.
But Twister.
I think it's B. I think it's better than Cosmic, but I do not think it's better than Lightning Storm most of
Agreed.
the time.
All right, Red Reboot.
It
S
is a
tier.
quick play, to be fair.
Yep.
But
S
not
tier.
worried
I was
about
gonna
IO
put this in
anymore.
S tier too. If this card
The
resolves,
reason
you
I
should just win the
think
game.
Red Reboot is S tier is because it stops the double pop on Scythe
Yes.
against the PK deck. And that is
It's very
super
important.
strong. Super, super powerful. As well as being able to side it in going first, like if you really need to like stop Imperm if for some reason you want to do that, you can also do that.
Or even
But also
evenly.
like if you resolve this against an Eldritch deck, you're gonna kill them, right?
Hopefully.
There's nothing they can do.
I feel like the only time you shouldn't play this card is if you're playing a weak deck. Like if you're playing a deck
Like
that
you can't
can't
kill them.
through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like if you can play this card, you should definitely have it in your sideboard.
I agree.
Royal Decree.
D.
Yeah, this card is
Yeah.
not what it used to be. You have to
It's
wait a
not.
whole turn for it. Just
Especially with people playing Brave, they can just bounce it to your hand.
yeah. Oh, a Decree, see you, buddy. I lost to a striker player in Master Duel while I was playing Eldritch because he flipped this on me though. I couldn't do
Get
anything
wrecked,
with it,
brother.
That's funny.
Duster.
D. It's too slow.
Yeah, I think it's just a worse one. Anti-spell frick. I think it's pretty good. I don't know how good it is. I think it's.
I think it's closer to C. I don't think it's that great this format, to be honest.
I think it'll be okay. I don't know. Like I don't think it's worth. I don't know if it's worth siding this format. I don't know. Like most of the decks you're gonna play against are gonna be like combo decks. But you know, if you're like a trap deck, I'd probably side in a trap deck.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's probably close. It's like the top of C, right? It's fine.
Yep.
The only problem is all the decks are just so strong going first right now. Like, does it really matter if, you have an anti-spell out, right?
Yep.
Like, you're already going first. You're at a huge advantage.
Those are back row hit cards, but they're also going first cards. We're going into going first cards now. How do you feel about D-Barrier?
I think it's definitely worse than it was last format.
Yep. I think
I
it's an
don't
okay
think
card.
Sword Soul nearly as good.
Yeah, I think it's an okay card. With Sword Soul being a little bit worse, and with Drytron being almost out of the format. Like I think this card sucks against Invoked. It's just how I am. So I also don't think Invoked is going to be like a massive deck. So the only deck you could play, like really could justify playing this against, is going to be Sword Soul, maybe Virtual World. But I just feel like there's better cards for it. I'd probably put it a C tier card. Maybe a C tier card.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I think it's a C tier card because I definitely wouldn't put D Barrier on the same level as Royal Decree.
Yeah, no.
Skill Drain.
Back to 3.
I think the decks that can play it, it's definitely like insanely powerful against the decks that it's good against.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think the decks that can play it
Should be main.
are limited. So I think it should just be a main deck card if you can play it right.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
100%.
If you're playing Skill Drain, you should be maining it. That's what I feel about Summon Limit.
D.
Yep.
Terrible against Brave.
Yeah, it's terrible against Brave, and I think it's just like most decks you're going to play this against. Like, I feel like you're going to need your summons too. Like, I don't know. I just think this card's bad. I played this card for a little bit, and I thought it was terrible. Every time I activated it, my opponent just looked at me and was like, "You're an idiot."
Yeah.
Rivalry.
I think it's a C tier card.
Yep.
But it's definitely better than it was last format. Because it is good against the Brave decks.
You put Gozen in the same place?
No, I think Gozen is significantly better.
Yeah.
I think Gozen is definitely a B tier card. I think when it's played, it's super strong this format.
Very.
Card's very annoying.
It is.
It's just because the Braves are such different attributes. And like most decks, like For example, Rivalry is terrible against Sword Soul. Gozen's actually just like game against Sword Soul. So like it is different.
Yeah.
Now, there can be only one was my favorite trap card last format. I don't know how this goes up against Brave.
It is very bad against Brave.
Yeah, I feel like because your Brave is going to be your negate, so like you don't really even care about the
Well,
one thing.
they can search. They can search
Equip spell and just bounce
the
it.
equip
Yeah, the
spell
bounce.
and just bounce it.
Braves
So it
busted,
literally
boys.
does nothing most of the time.
I think it's good against decks that don't play against Brave though, so I would probably keep it or be.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, moving on to Solemn. What about Strike?
Main deck card. Like
Yeah.
if you're playing a trap deck, you need Solemn Strike in your main
Yeah,
deck.
for sure.
I agree. I think this is I personally think this is the best Solemn. And I guess warning. I think it's a D tier card.
D.
I don't think that card's ever
Yeah,
like.
it's
I mean, it may one day be played again, but
Strike's just better.
yeah, Strike's just a better card. Judgment.
I think Judgment's pretty good against in the decks that want to play it.
Yeah,
Like I think it's not like amazing.
Yep.
But it's not bad either. So I'll probably put it C or B. Probably B.
I
Probably.
think
Yeah.
It's
I
really
think it's
good
a
in
D
Nudler.
tier card because it's really good in the decks that want to play it. But I think people need to stop siding it in decks that don't need it.
I agree.
Yes. I agree. Like, you're not gonna catch me playing Solemn Judgment with my fucking combo deck, dude.
Yeah.
Not a shot.
Like if your combo is getting stopped, you're not gonna save yourself a judgment.
Like last format I saw people playing it in like Droplet and stuff like that, and it's just why play that card?
Yeah, like
Just
the card's good. Like don't get me
better
wrong,
cards to
and
play.
like it stops stuff. But if you're
You're
doing
a
your
combo deck.
combo, like you want your combo to resolve, and if you're banking on your combo not resolving and you keep protecting yourself with a judgment, then you're playing your deck wrong.
Correct.
Like, I just think that's how it is. Siding the scythe package. So this would be Sanctum and Scythe.
Unfortunately, I don't think this is very good.
I don't either. I think it's probably your C or D.
I think it's C. It's definitely better than the cards in D.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the engine is good, but I think you should only be playing Scythe if you're making in your combo. I don't think you should.
That's
Well,
yeah.
I think I don't even think it's that. I think the problem is the decks that play Scythe or that would want to play a card like a trap card that would scythe their opponent, they can't kill them on the follow up. So they
Yep.
give them another turn, but the next turn they can just play again.
Yeah, that's what I was
If
saying.
there is a trap deck out there that can deal like 8,000 in one turn really quickly, you might be seeing this card a lot higher on the tier list.
Yeah.
All right. Going on to cross out designate.
I feel like there's some
So-
decks you just need this card in.
I feel like if you're gonna play this card, it should be in your main deck.
Yes.
But I don't think people should be main decking it.
Yeah,
So
I
it's kind
agree
of
with you.
dorn to put this in. Let's just like put a little hyphen or whatever asterisk beside this. Like, if you're gonna play it, it should be in your main deck, but you probably shouldn't be in your main deck.
Yep. I don't
Shouldn't
even
be
like,
in
You
your deck
should
at all.
play it.
I don't like this. I'm gonna put it at the bottom tier of your main deck because like it's this card is good in its own way, but you have to play. Like it sucks when you have this card in your hand and your opponent's gonna be playing one of these jank cards that's gonna catch you off guard, and then your cross is dead.
Yeah.
You know, like, and even then, like, what if you're playing like a combo deck and you don't want to play like Nibiru in your main deck, and then you have a cross out in your hand, no Nibiru in your main deck, and you get nibbed, And I feel like people that play this card play like they're Jesus and they're too protected, and then they get hit by something like this, and I don't play Droll in my deck,
I also think that people should think about like the only thing that you should really be playing crossed out in is a deck that you can't really play Brave in, and that's not very many decks.
Maybe if you're
Because
playing
Brave
Dragon
does the same
Maiden.
thing.
But I don't even know if I
Yeah.
want to put this in main deck. This card's not. I don't know. I don't think
I
the
don't
card's
like it.
terrible. I don't think this card's terrible, but I don't think it's good right now. So I'm gonna say it's a D tier card because I don't think you should be playing your main deck. I don't think you should be siding it. So
I agree.
tactics. How do you feel about tactics?
I think Tactics is pretty strong in the decks that want it.
Yeah, I've been playing this in my deck, and when it resolves, it's pretty good, but it's I don't know. it. I'm growing to not like this card, but I feel like it's okay. Like I don't think it's
I think it's pretty
insane.
B tier. I
Yeah.
think it's an ideal of like a B tier card.
In my opinion, I think if you're playing this card, you should main deck the card. But I could be.
Yeah, you can put that there. I could agree with that. Like,
I would definitely
you
put it
can
in the main deck
definitely
if you play
side
it.
deck it against decks that like play like hard going second cards. Like like if you decide to main deck a card like Dark Ruler No More or Droplet,
Yeah.
and you're going
Mhm.
first, you can definitely swap that out, and that's definitely something to do, as well as having a going second card against like weaker combo decks.
Yep.
Right.
I
But
just think you should build your deck to go first if you're a going first deck, and I feel like this should be in your hand to play through like hand traps and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like this should definitely like it's good going second, obviously too, but like I feel like definitely a game one card. Most
I like the card. I'm pretty high on it.
I like it. You think it should be a main deck? You think it should be a different side deck?
I think
Yeah,
in
we can
general,
throw.
it's just like a really good card. It could be in both.
That's fair.
I think
For
a
sure.
majority of the time you're going to see it is going to be in the main deck, but I wouldn't fault someone for siding it.
Yeah.
What about Kaiju's? How do you feel about Kaiju's right now?
Pretty horrible.
They just don't do enough. Like
Yeah.
most of the
The
decks are
only
gonna have
situation,
multiple.
the only situation that I could see anyone playing Kaiju's is if they wanted to play the Wind Kaiju for the barrier statue, but then again, most people are playing Brave, so you can just special summon Griffin, attack over the Wind barrier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I think they just kind of fell off a little bit.
yeah, for sure.
Lava Golem.
I loved it this
Pretty,
weekend. Drawtron is amazing.
Yep, I think
But
pretty
I
bad.
don't need my
I think it's a
normal
bad
summon in it.
card. I think it's a bad card, but I think it's better than Kaiju's right now. But I also think it's only good in decks so you don't have to normal summon.
Yeah.
I think this format's different. I think you're gonna get Scythe blocked a lot, and I
Yep.
think that card does not answer the Scythe block. So
There's
that's my
definitely
opinion on it.
a few games where my opponent just had one monster on field and I felt dumb staring at Lava Golem, but it just happens.
I think Spear Mode's worse than all of them. I think this card's terrible.
Yes,
Yeah,
I think
for
this card
sure.
is just really awful. Dark Ruler no more.
I think it's pretty A tier.
Yeah.
If Scythe wasn't in the format, it would definitely be S.
Yep.
But it's has a big problem with not being a quick play.
Yeah.
Thank God it's not a quick play. I'd hate it. I hate it so
Same.
much. Yeah, I think it's an A tier card. I think it's really good against the decks it's good against, but I don't think it's an S tier card because
Yeah, for sure.
Triple Raigeki.
C.
Yeah.
I think if your deck wants to whiteboards and you're playing some kind of like OTK deck, and
Go
I
for
think
it.
it's okay, go for it. But I don't think it's going to be like a must-have. Like you need to be, everyone needs to be siding.
I don't think you're gonna see a lot of people side decking it.
But you might get that one guy that's like Raigeki, protect, Raigeki, protect, Raigeki. If you got it, you got it, man. Like triple
I mean, yeah,
Raigeki,
true.
normal summon Torgite. Oh, okay, let's go. I think it's an
It
okay
should
card.
probably be in D, to be honest. But
I can see it. I can see it D. I think the card's bad, but I mean,
because I can't imagine putting Regeki in the same tier as there can only be one.
that's fair. Yeah.
Or D barrier.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
I feel like if you're playing this card, you should probably just be playing Droplet if you have it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
there is an issue where Droplet is $90. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have Droplet, you can play this card, but you should probably be playing Droplet.
There's also another option if you don't have droplets, which we'll get into later.
Yeah. Mystic Mine.
pretty B tier. Definitely gets worse with everyone playing Brave.
Yeah, equip spell, bounce it. It's like,
Yeah, the card is
I
annoying.
don't know if you put it in the same tier as like. I don't even know if it's B tier honestly, just because you can bounce it. Like it's searchable bouncing now.
Well, here's the only reason I want to put it in B tier is because the guy that won the PPG was not main decking the equip spell because it was a brick.
Yep.
And if people follow suit with that logic, Mystic Mind definitely gets better.
What deck won the PPG?
PK, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. I think going into the format, it's a B tier. I think it might go down to a C tier when people start playing cards like that.
If they don't start playing it, then I could definitely see it staying in B tier for sure.
Yeah. Droplet. I feel like it's either
Main deck.
S or A. Like
Yeah.
Main
if
deck.
you
I
have
think it
this
should be in
card,
every single person's main deck. If you're not main decking it, you're just
Yep.
giving away games.
I agree with you. I think this card is insane. I think it's very like it's just strong and basically every deck, like even decks that you need most of the cards in your hand, like you should be able to play without an extra card.
Yeah, you should value Droplet more than your extra card, for sure.
I mean, if you don't play Droplet in your deck, you're probably getting scythe, so it doesn't matter how many
I mean,
cards you have.
Plus, if you like play traps your deck, you can stop the double scythe thing.
Yes,
Sending a
if you
trap
play
so can
traps
respond.
like in the PK mirror, it's super needed.
Yep.
Now, Chalice, in my opinion, I think if you don't have Droplet and you're playing Chalice, I think it should be a main deck card.
100%. If you don't drop it, main deck.
Yeah, that is if you do not
I
have
would
Droplets.
not put Droplets in the main deck. I think,
I mean Chalice.
or yeah, Droplet or Chalice. Sorry, because I don't want people to get the idea and think we think Chalice is a good card. I do
No.
not think Chalice is a good card,
Yeah.
but it's
No,
also
it's just
not horrible.
Yeah.
Either.
I think
if you don't have droplets, then I would main deck Chalice because you don't have droplets.
yeah, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying.
Yes,
mean?
but I
Yeah.
don't think that makes it have a main deck tier. You know.
That's fair. I personally think it's a B tier card. But
Yeah, it's pretty
Just because it's a
fine. It's
quick
not
play that stops
great.
scythe too. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right, this is the Shadal package. I would say the Shadal package is going to be Shadal fusion with Dragon Aerial or something of that sort with Winda or Construct.
I think this is a pretty big package to play in your side deck.
Yep.
But the decks that would want to play it, I would imagine, would be like Invoke, stuff like that, and
Yeah.
against decks like Sword Soul,
That's good.
and it's pretty strong. But I would put it in like C tier just because like the amount of decks that can
A
actually
niche
play
deck,
it
yeah.
Yep.
is just super low.
If you're resolving it and the decks that can play it, it's really strong, but it's got to be in your hand. You know, like after your first like couple turns, it's not really going to do a whole lot. Especially if you open like the bricks with it. You got to play like if you're playing 2 Shadal fusions and 2 monsters, you know, then you're probably not gonna draw the Shadal fusion. So you have to play the 5 cards, and then you also have to have the extra cards. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
There's a lot of room.
Even when I played Invoke, I didn't like it. The only thing I liked about it was Ariel, because Ariel's so strong.
Yeah, that's nice.
Our last card is old Pinky Boy. I love this card. I don't know how good it is right now. I haven't played it in a while, but
Honorable mention.
I think it's like a B tier card. I think it's just always going to be a
I
decent.
think it's a little worse than that. I think it's like C tier.
I don't know how good it is against Brave, so that's my thing. Like,
I think the card's just a little power crept at this point.
Yeah, they're just better cards.
Is there any card you guys think we forgot?
Yes, I already came up with one.
What is it?
And I can't believe we forgot it.
What is it?
Super polymerization.
Oh, Super Poly.
Super Poly is busted.
I definitely think super polymerization is a sleeper pick, probably in the A tier.
A tier Super Poly.
Yeah, because as long as the PK people do not play around that card, which I don't think a majority of them will, it literally is a 1-card stop to their combo, and there actually isn't another card that's a 1-card stop to their combo. Like, because if they had the double pop, you have super poly, you stop their entire turn, or their entire combo with 1 card. Even if they had the Brave package, it doesn't matter. It's actually crazy.
I had Super Poly on my list, but I didn't put it on here. But
yeah, so honorable mention, Super Poly, probably A tier, but like the problem with Super Poly is when people start realizing it's a thing, they start playing around it, the card goes to D tier. Like,
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Start of the format, I definitely think it's a good card.
It's a card
Yeah.
like Niv. They play around it. They don't. It's blowout.
Yep. Anything you realize we've missed, PJ?
I think we've got pretty much everything.
There is a few cards I would
can
like to
think
move
of.
around.
Okay, what do you think?
I think Skullmeister and Ghost Ogre should move down to like the bottom of C at least, if not D.
Yeah.
Skullmeister's probably in D, but Ogre's probably in the back of C.
I can see that for sure.
You think Ogre's back here?
Yeah, and I think Meister is in D.
I think Meister's a D tier card. The way I have it set up is
Yeah.
like the order we did. It's like the hand traps are in order, and then the
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Do you think Mourner and Ghost Ogre are the C tier hand traps?
Mm-hmm.
Meister, you think it's worse than these two? You think it's better?
I think it's
I think
better
it's
than both
better
of the
than
other.
yeah. Just because you can see more interaction.
Is there anything else you guys see that we could change?
No, I agree with it. I think if you're playing these cards, you should mainnet these cards, and I think if you can side these cards, you should be siding these cards. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
I'm fine with
anything right
this.
now below B tier, you're probably not wanting to side deck it, to be honest.
Yep, I would agree
Like
with
the majority of cards that you're going to see in people's side decks is from B up, I think, this format.
Yeah. Right.
You may see a few of the C tier cards,
You may see like
but
anti-spell and some TC Boo.
D Barrier, DC Boo, yeah,
Yeah.
those are the big ones. But yeah, I think it's a good list so far.
I think Cosmic and Twin got a lot worse than Imperial Order, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Because like now we don't need quick play to chain nut IO and shit like that.
Also, since the Brave Engine can out window, I also think that we could honestly drop both of those cards to C.
yeah, I can see it. I think they're definitely on the lower end of the back row hate, which is why they're.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, you guys think anything else?
I think it's good.
No, looks good to me.
All right, guys. That's how we see the side decks going into this format looking. If you have any comments or any cards you think we missed, let us know. We'll probably make another tier list in a couple months or so. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.